Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and I am here to show you a video about a good beginner's strategy for this new game, Last Oasis. As you can see, I'm pretty much just starting. I've been on the game for a couple hours now, but I've got a pretty good idea of how, at this point, like a good starting strategy for people in general. First off, loot a bunch of resources, and by that I mean literally just go after the rupus. But the best thing you can do for yourself is get into the desert, and there are tons of like ruins in the desert. Now in these ruins you've got a whole bunch of stuff. There's little engrams where you can learn things. You've got things that allow you to buy stuff, and there's all kinds of just in general things that are useful. And then you can get things like this box right here and attach it. You can see that I have to attach it with a harpoon, but let's talk about what I get from this. So let's go ahead and get up in my dinghy here, and basically you can see I've got a whole bunch of raw resources. I've got a whole bunch of little bit specialer resources, and then I've also looted a bunch of, you can see, modules and things like that, like a water module, some pelts, things that are a little bit more valuable, and I keep them inside this boat. For the most part, the dinghy is all you're going to need to start up. Some people are going to want to look at their crafting menu and they're going to say, oh man, you know, look at all these cool walkers that I can have and all this neat stuff I can do. You could do that if you wanted to. But for me, I'm level 30 right now. I have not needed anything but the dinghy, because you can pretty much put everything you want on it, which includes these little things. These are very important to have, walker climbers. It just allows you to quickly get up and get out of there. I run into a couple of PvP situations. There was one where it was me versus a Titan, which was kind of scary. There was at least I think it was a Titan. It was a huge boat with like 20 people on it. So I just ran. The smaller the walker you have, the quicker they are. So that's quite useful. And so this guy's like the second smallest-ish for solo players. And that's just something that you want to know. A couple more quick facts about it. Your character will automatically drink water. All you need to do is get yourself a makeshift bottle, and that'll help you a lot just carrying water. And then you'll see this little indicator down here. This will, you can consume it by right-clicking it, and it will give you water, but it'll automatically drink water, so you don't have to constantly refill your own water. Your health bar is important to keep an eye on. And having bandages like you just saw me put on right there will raise your health. Now here's a fun fact. You can see like the darker red and the lighter red. Until this darker red catches this lighter red health, you don't actually have that health. It doesn't really exist. This is your actual health bar, and you can't put on another bandage until it catches that. This is your green stamina bar. It's very hard to drop your stamina super quickly. As a matter of fact, I have yet to actually accomplish dropping my stamina that fast. But, you know, to each their own. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to build something that you need to have access to, and that's the ballista. So you need wood, and wood shafts is the only thing I don't have right now. I'll add some more wood to my inventory, and then some more wood shafts as well. Alright, so all you got to do is go into your building menu, and this is a great early game tool to use for your raft. You can place it pretty much wherever you want. I'm going to place mine closer to my driving station, and that's just simply due to the fact that I want to have access to shooting it quickly. So like that. Now I can man this, and you can pretty much choose a side. Like for me right now, I can go the entire way around except for right there. So you can pretty much cover the entire thing, and this guy is a good thing to attack with, I suppose, is a good way to put it. So crafting wise, there are two menus. There's a C for crafting and a B for buildings crafting. You can do some flint bolts. You need a bolt and 2 hide, and I'm going to show you a cool little trick here. Alright, so I got a bolt. I need some more hide. Let's grab some hide real quick. Put this in my inventory, and we're going to go back to crafting. And I made a harpoon. So I'm going to go ahead and man, and I've got the harpoon ready. And you can kind of like look down in order to aim it, and you can load this bad boy up, and you can see it gives you a little bit of a trajectory, which is nice, and then you just fire. Now I have actually gotten a hold of this, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it sit there, and now that I've got it tethered, I just have to drag this thing through, and I'll show you some of the cool stuff that you can get. and you just drag this bad boy through the wilderness, and it'll break. Now, there's lots of different things that you can do, but this is always a good strategy. Just loot everything you see in the desert, because the desert has a lot of lootable stuff, shockingly. So, let's see if it's done any damage to it at all, because sometimes you gotta drag it through like rocks and stuff like that. And no damage done. Drag with harpoon, and you gotta drag it a little bit of a ways. So again, I can't say it enough, have these little guys on your boat, your walker climbers. You can unlock them in your walker parts. Walker tools. There's all kinds of stuff that you can see here. But it's just good to have them. So we're going to go ahead and use this bad boy, and we're just going to try and drag this box through the trees and everything we can. Alright, loot. It's breaking is what it's telling me. So it's down to 187. You saw it go up there in the middle, and you'll get some good loot out of it. 186. And we're just going to keep dragging. 181, 71, 73. It looks like the more I can drag this thing through stuff, the more damage it ends up taking, so that's a good thing. We're going to try and drag it through these trees right here, and it does lots of damage to it. There we go. And see how I'm flipping it there? That helps it take more damage. The more I can shake it around like this, the better off I am. So, and come on, drop the box, drop it like it's hot. There we go. And you want to try and do these like zigzaggy patterns because it causes it to flip. And 31, 22, 12. Got it. Alright, so notice how I broke that loot, and now I can actually get into the box. And I just got 25 fragments, which is a lot of fragments. So again, looting stuff in the desert is well worth it. And just drive around this desert and you will eventually run into things. Loot boxes and stuff like that. A couple more things. These big trees, you can see on top, that's how you... those like fruits, you mix them with some water, and that's how you learn to make new walkers. And that's always a huge thing to help out early game. Just always gather yourself a bunch of cactus, and you can cook that cactus in order to make yourself some more purified water and make some vision powder like you see right here. And I'll show you what this does. I'll go ahead and consume it. But if you consume the vision powder and you go into your opening menu, you can actually unlock new walkers. Like the toboggan cost me 65 if I want it. Stiletto cost me 30. I don't have that much yet, but you can earn that much, and it lasts a little bit of time. So in order to actually unlock these things, you have to be on the Joja fruit, or whatever you want to call it, the desert fruit. I don't even know what you want to call it, but you need to be on the fruit. So. And if you just keep adventuring through the desert, this is a great way to start, because you'll either run into some Rupu, and I'll show you some Rupu in a second here. But running into Rupu, looting them early game is huge, because you can get a whole bunch of free stuff from them. And anything you see in the desert, try and loot it to the best of your ability. And when you do loot that stuff you saw, you get a bunch of fragments, and that allows you to unlock things in game, which is really big time for you early game. We're just going to keep moving around the edge here. I haven't seen anything recently. See those giant like bone looking things that stick out of the ground? Yeah, that right there is good to have. Perfect. We are going to get our first look at some Rupu here. So with the Rupu, let's talk about how you want to fight these guys early game. Get out some sort of beat stick. You can notice in your inventory that they have their damages displayed. A quarterstaff, learning it, a 41 damage is pretty nice. In order to do combat, the best thing you can do is defend a little bit, but try and move around when you combat, because you want to try and hit their head. And it's hard to believe, but you can do a pretty good job early game of just fighting them and aiming high for the head. It seems to do the most damage, and you can get some pretty good loot, like wood shafts, vines, pelts, and just in general stuff. It's nice to have. these guys right here will give you some vines, and how you get up on their base is you use your little thing right there. Go ahead and reel yourself up, get some swing action, and there's always a little bit of loot inside of these boxes right here. The urns, I mean. Some of these can be really hard to hit, but if you kind of move your way slowly around in here, you will eventually find the way to hit it. And as you can see, I just got some stuff that's pretty valuable. Nets are pretty good to have access to. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my... I don't need some of this stuff. Hammers, drag and drop. I don't need that. Let's go ahead and replace this. What do I want to get rid of? Foraging pouch. I have access to that. There we go. Okay. So... okay, so once you kill them, actually, what happens is you kind of destroy their structure and they will leave eventually. So I just opened up space for that net. We're going to steal some more of this stuff. And early game, this is important to have access to. A bunch of stuff. I'm going to... blunt quarterstaff I need access to. Hide, I always need. Pelt. And this will stay here for a minute so we can just go back up in our boat. Store our stuff. And that's another suggestion that I have for you. Stay near your boat. There's no reason to try and adventure around. It's just, you know, there's no value in it. Just stay close, because staying close to your boat will keep you alive. And if you need to run, it's much easier to run close to your boat than it is to far away. I know that sounds obvious, but that's just how it is. Early game, aloe vera, which is that like little plant that you just saw in my inventory, aloe vera, gives you a very solid amount of water, and that's good to have because you just don't need to do anything for it. Like with cactus, if you get a bunch of cactus and cook it up, it'll give you water. Aloe vera straight up gives you 12 water, which is a very solid amount early game for you. We're just going to keep driving here, but you saw with those rupus, I picked up some pretty decent stuff. If you just drive through the desert, you will run into rupu huts and you will run into more loot areas. The best thing you can do is try and get up on top of these hills, and that's a good way to end up running into loot crates. You can see a little bit of a loot station to my right here. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. Anything that's got like a ripped down flag is a loot location. And this one right here, it's got a little bag hanging down. You can kind of see it. And early game, again, super useful to have access to this. Because there's a lot of stuff you're like, ooh, how am I ever going to get that? And then you loot it from the bag. Traveler staff and a fragment. Can't complain about that. And then get good with bringing yourself in, and you're good to go. So really, early game, the biggest things you can do for yourself is loot a whole bunch of stuff. Learn how to... oh, there's some more loot in front of me. Just drive through the desert and get as much as you can in order to access new tiers, because you're fighting people that have played this game for weeks, if not months, for some of the people that have been testers and stuff like that. So you've got to just get advantage and run around. In staying in the desert, I have found most people don't bother with you in the desert. It's when you go to the other areas that people get near you in. And that's kind of how it is. Is this one of those draggable boxes? Yep, large case. Got to drag it with a harpoon. But there's some free loot right there. 3 more fragments. And we're going to go ahead and drag this last case here, just to show you. And crafting menu, ammo. I need more wood shafts. And we're going to go ahead and trade that out with my fiber. Crafting menu. And then I have a flint bolt. What happened to it? Oh, I got you. I see. Storage. Where's my storage? There it is. We're going to go ahead and place... ooh, that does 46 damage. Oofda. I will take that all day. Try not to carry too much stuff on you, because it's just a waste of space. All right. We're going to go ahead and grab this. Loot all that. Craft 1 more bolt to drag that guy across the desert. We're going to man this. Reload it first. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate the ship so I've got an easier shot on this. Just like so. Rotating our ship. And I'm even going to like get a little bit of a downhill pull right off the bat, so that way we can drag this thing pretty good. And try and drag it nice. There we go. Alright, man, this bad boy. It's a cool screenshot. And we have us a draggable thing. And it gives you, I mean, really, it's worth it because 25 fragments, which is pretty normal from these things, only 2 of those cases, and you have access to building pretty much whatever you want, which is nice. Alright, so let's see if we can also get where we're going, because I'm going to the trade station, and that's where I'm going to end this little video on how to help you start up. And, come on now. Give me a little bit of pull here. I gotta get some more speed up. Alright, see if I can crash this guy into this cacti. Yep. Got it. So that does a huge amount of damage, as you just saw. And now we're just dragging it through. It's almost flipped. Come on, break it. There we go. So we broke open the loot there. We're going to go ahead and loot this bad boy. 23 fragments, and that means we now have access to the new walker, the stiletto. So it's literally that easy, and you're under the effect of this. The stiletto's got a lot more than the dinghy, and you just slowly stiletto bone upgrade your stuff until you don't need to upgrade it anymore. And stiletto small wings. What do I need for this? Why can't I unlock this? Oh, I need something that's not. Oh, I need to actually buy the points in the store. I see. Okay. So, early game, just keep looting. That's my biggest suggestion to you guys. Run around. You'll learn the controls as you go. But Rupu, looting, and stuff like that is a great way to get access to early game stuff. And then the loot table over in the loot station, trade station, is also a great way. If you've got a bunch of materials stacked up and you don't really have a use for them, go ahead and head over to the trade station, because that is a great way to get yourself some stuff that you might need. Now we're going to crash these cactus. Boom. And if you have enough speed, you can just crash through cactus, and it works pretty well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and... Come on. There we go. You'd be amazed what you can climb with these things, by the way. Pretty easy to do so as well. If you can just figure out slowly how to move, you can pretty much do anything in this game. And don't flip, don't flip, don't flip. Nice. Alright. And there is a little bit of a walker cooldown, if you want to call it that. But you can pretty much get out of every scenario just by moving slowly and being careful of your surroundings. Alright. But also, if you're looking to run from people, doing something like this, even though it seems stupid, it's really hard to chase somebody through this. I've lost a couple of people doing like little crazy shenanigans like this in order to avoid people. And come on, get up, get up. There we go. And we have gotten through, and we're heading straight towards the trade station, which is right to our right, and we're good to go, just like that. And you'll see the trade station up here in a second. Just go and look at the map, heading straight towards it. And once we get there, I'll kind of just say, you know, the best thing you can do for yourself, just get some loot, continue to hit the Rupus. I don't think it's worth PvPing early game because you don't get that much valuable things. Later game it probably is when you're trying to attack people that actually probably have something good. But early game, you really want to avoid that. So take that for what you will. Don't battle those guys. That is just a death mission. He's chasing me. Okay. They will win against you all day, in case you're curious. The trade stations are also good little areas to go because they have PvP-free zones. So if you just fly into a trade station, you have 15 minutes of safety, and nothing can happen to you. And, you know, it's nice to have a little bit of a break if you need one, because you know you can leave your boat safely if you need to go do something in real life. So that's kind of like my couple of little starter hints to start this game off. Just do what you can. And loot as much as you can. Stay in the desert. It's a good area to start off. Anyways, other than that, Teach out.